Hi guys, my name is Roman Winsberg and today I'm gonna speak about romantic relationship, marriage and gender roles. Nowadays, especially online, you can find a lot of information, opinions, channels that you can almost lose yourself in. And if we talk specifically about the romantic relationship, probably the only true purpose of it is marriage. And I'm not talking about the marriage as the legal institution, I'm talking about the decisions of two people who decide to work together as a team for the one single purpose, to prosper and to procreate. Before I start, I must specify that I'm talking about the monogamous marriages since we are living in Western world, but I do aware that it used to be polygamous or non-monogamous marriages in the history of humankind. So I'll start with a little bit of history. First of all, I must say that I strongly believe that if we talk about the instincts, the subconsciousness, the deep desires of the human, we're actually a little different from the animals. Why I say so and how it is related to marriage? Well, if we look into the animal kingdom, you would see that the most dominant male, the alpha, would get majority or most of the females. Same actually in humans. If we look at the beginning of humankind, to the dawn of humankind, you would see that the most dominant male would always get the majority of females. As time went by, some civilization evolved, so the marriage became more legal institution. But in the early times, marriage were based on the resources. So the strongest male in terms of the resources could get more than one wife. And usually the kings got a lot more than 2 or 5 wives. From the dawn of humankind right up till the Christianity introduction, the polygamy was the norm. When the Christianity was introduced, monogamy was introduced as well. But the monogamy was introduced for the purpose. Purpose of the monogamy was to equalize the chances for the regular guys, at that time peasants, so that they had a chance to have a wife and a family. Polygamy at that point had one major disadvantage, and that disadvantage was that the most resourceful, the strongest man would have majority of women, while the regular men, the peasants, would get leftover women or no wives at all. In ancient time, majority of men were just the regular men, the peasants. So because of the huge disproportion in wives, the regular men didn't have anything to lose. So that increased dramatically the chances of revolutions or civil wars inside the countries. So to avoid that, through the religion and the church, there was institution that allowed to have only one wife. To sum up, monogamy is a social construct. It has advantages and disadvantages as well. The major advantage is that the society is a lot more stable, and the main disadvantage is that it's not really natural to human having just one wife or mating partner. Nowadays, in majority of Western countries, it is illegal to have more than one wife. However, the most powerful, the most resourceful man still has a lot more than one woman. So to sum up, monogamy is natural for humans, however, it makes the society much more stable. But whether we speak about the monogamy or polygamy, there were always been gender roles. Let's remember the purpose of marriage, or in other words, mating. Basically, the purpose of mating is to procreate. But there's the first step. The first step for every human or the animal is to survive. The second step is to prosper. In other words, to gather resources to procreate. And the third step is to procreate, to have your children, to leave something behind, the legacy, the DNA, or your footprint for the future generations. It wasn't an accident that two genders evolved. Basically, men and women were designed to team up and to have the best chances of surviving, prosperity, and procreating. And the gender roles as we know them were created just for the sake of survival. That meant that males were stronger physically, so they went to do the hard jobs and at that time hunting, while the women were physically more weak, but they took care of home and the children. So that meant that the strongest hunter, the best hunter in the group, were the most valuable men, while the best mother or homemaker was the best woman. As the years goes by, through generations, we were programmed that the strongest providing man is the highest value, while the best, most feminine woman, the best mother, is the highest female value. Since survival of the tribe were dependent on the hunters, hunters always had the most value. So that means that the food were given primary to the hunters, to the top hunters, while the women and children come second. Because of that, men became leaders. But if you take a look at the religion, it was basically the same thing. The first man that was created was Adam. The Eve was created as a supporter for the Adam. So there is a structure, the accountability ladder. Women were accountable before their man, and men were accountable to the God. And the marriage as the legal institution was created to have the best chances of raising kids and to survive. Basically, ancient civilizations understood that the foundation of the civilization or the society is the strong families. If we take a look to the relationship or marriage from mating perspective, we are hardwired actually to look the complete opposite from the other gender. We are like yin and yang. We are designed to complement each other. So that's the reason why we're looking in the opposite gender what we do not have. So whether we like it or not, gender roles exist. Basically, women are looking for the strong masculine man with all the traits they have, basically a hunter, while the men are looking for the feminine woman with all those feminine traits, the good mothers and good homemakers. Nowadays, there are a lot of women who wants to take that provider role, that hunter role. But when the relationship happens, both men and women feel that something is wrong. They feel that they are not in their natural roles. So because of that, there can be two bosses at the household. And the second thing is that that kind of household isn't really effective. That means that in the family there are certain things that aren't taken care of. And that means also that the success rate of prosperity and procreation is diminished. I'm talking about the generalities, and if you feel that what I'm speaking about is not entirely true, you're probably right. What I mean by that is that both men and women has some opposing gender traits. That means women has some masculine traits and men has some feminine traits, and the proportion of them are varies from individual to individual. So basically, there's 80% of the population of the world that feel best in the natural roles, that mean men in masculine roles, female in feminine roles. There's also 10% that can be neutral, can fill up the both roles. And there is a 10% of people who can be the opposite role. That means females can be in the masculine role and males can be in the feminine role. Due to modern feminism and social media, the boundaries between the roles are really diminishing. Men becoming more feminine and women becoming more masculine. But again, whether you like it or not, most people feel most comfortable in their natural roles. In the next videos, I'm going to share with you what are the natural masculine and feminine roles, and I hope it's going to help you to navigate through life and relationship. So thank you once again for sticking with me, and see you the next time.